All right, welcome everyone to today's Lunch and Learn webinar, Business Intelligence on the Go, brought to you by ArcherPoint and Jet Reports. Every company needs reliable, up-to-the-minute business intelligence, but getting that critical information in hand can be difficult and time-consuming. Jet Reports' full business intelligence suite changes all that. Today's webinar will touch on everything from how to save time and money with a drag-and-drop data warehouse and Cube back-end to making quick business decisions using instant front-end dashboards, KPIs, and analytics. Our presenter today is Alex Larson, Channel Manager at Jet Reports, specializing in business intelligence solutions for Dynamics NAV. In working with thousands of NAV clients, Alex is an expert in guiding them in finding the best solution to fit their reporting and business intelligence needs. In just under an hour, Alex will cover all of this, as well as provide you with an exclusive look at the new capabilities in Jet Mobile, allowing you access to your powerful business metrics from anywhere at any time. We will offer a Q&A at the end of the presentation. Please either type your questions in the questions pane of your GoToWebinar console or use the raise your hand option to ask your question verbally. I will unmute your line at that time, and we'll go ahead and get started. Alex, over to you.
Thanks, Suzanne. Again, my name is Alex Larson. I am the East Region Channel Manager here at Jet Reports. I'd like to thank you all very much for joining us today. I'm really excited to be here and to speak about our Jet Enterprise solution, as well as give you a peek at Jet Mobile and some of the different mobile and web client capabilities that we also offer. First of all, just to give you all a little bit of background on our company, Jet Reports is the leading reporting and business intelligence solutions provider for Dynamics NAV. We have over 100,000 users worldwide in 98 countries. We are a Microsoft strategic partner in that our solutions are actually developed in collaboration with Microsoft and their development teams. And a couple of things that really set us apart are our renowned customer service across 24 time zones, and 24-hour technical support and access to our community and support site resources. We offer 3 solutions really to match any organization's reporting and BI needs. Jet Express, which is offered out of the box for free with NAV 2009 and later for fast, easy financials and data queries. Jet Essentials, which the way that I like to put it is Jet Express on steroids for full operational reporting. And then Jet Enterprise, which we'll be talking about today for business intelligence, trending, and analytics. So jumping right into Jet Enterprise here. Typically, if you ask 4 or 5 different people what business intelligence is, you're going to get 4 or 5 different answers. So for the purpose of this discussion, when we talk about BI, what we're talking about is reporting from a data warehouse and cube environment. Now, while most people aren't completely familiar with what that is and what it means, I like to use this graphic here on the right-hand side of my screen to help describe how a data warehouse as well as a cube environment work. So starting over here on the left-hand side, this is our raw data or our NAV database. And NAV has roughly 1,000 tables and over 10,000 fields, and what we've found is that most end users really only use about 15 tables and 100 fields for reporting purposes. So this is why a data warehouse becomes important. A data warehouse is meant to store only the information that is relevant for reporting. So that is taking the very large data set that is your NAV database and trimming it down to something much more manageable. The data warehouse then goes a step further and organizes all of your data by subject matter. So notice the icons in the middle graphic here. The icons are now lined up in rows. So what this means is that all of the data that is related to sales, for example, is put into the sales section of the data warehouse, regardless of which table it lives in within the NAV database. So sales data could live in 6 tables in NAV. In the data warehouse, now it's all organized in one place. Going a step further in optimizing the data, the cube's going to make the data even more relevant for analysis. So this is where dimensionality and key performance indicators come into play. So notice on the graphic that now not only are the icons lined up, but now they're also organized by color. So the cube has now taken every possible combination of dimension and value and laid it all out into one flat file format. So what this means is that if you wanted to see sales by item, by region, by year, that analysis is already done for you on the back end and sitting there waiting to be viewed with just a couple clicks of your mouse. The cube then goes a step further and also pre-calculates any formula-based values. So this is where your organization can add its own custom KPIs. And the added benefit of this is now everybody in the organization is working from the same version of the truth. So gross profit's a perfect example for this. Different people in different organizations calculate gross profit slightly differently. Whereas when you're working from a data warehouse and cube environment, you can standardize that calculation. So now everybody's using the exact same formulas and calculations to come up with gross profit to get the same numbers within their reports and dashboards. So think of this entire structure as going from a lot of data to only a little, from everything to relevant only, from complex to simple, and from slow to fast. To summarize, the three advantages of a business intelligence solution are going to be consolidation and performance. So having a dedicated reporting database with data warehouse and cubes, as well as being able to bring in multiple data sources into a consolidated reporting database. Secondly is speed. Because it's built for reporting, all of your analysis out of the cube is going to be almost instantaneous, which I'll show you in a few minutes. And third is ease of use. So since the data is already organized on the back end, the typical end user doesn't need to know how the data relates within the actual nav database or what table and what field they need to go to find the information that they need. They simply need to know what metrics they want to see and how they want to slice and dice them. So what we're offering with Jet Enterprise is a pre-built data warehouse and 7 pre-built cubes that typically cover about 75% of what an organization needs right out of the box. The reason I say 75% and not 100 is because nav is such a customizable solution that any customization, so custom tables, custom fields that you do have in your nav database, those do need to be brought over into the data warehouse and cube environment. Secondly, and this is where I believe the real value is in our solution, it's in our backend tool, the Jet Data Manager, and this is used to customize the data warehouse and cubes to fit your organization. And the great thing about this is it's extremely user-friendly, so you don't need to be a BI or a SQL expert to use our tool. With a few days of training, you can manage all of this in-house if you so choose. So let's go ahead and take a look at what a finished dashboard looks like in Jet Enterprise. So first we're going to take a look at our Excel front end here. So this is a sales dashboard that I've created in Excel using the Jet Enterprise functionality. So in the center here we have some of our visuals with the different metrics and KPIs that we're looking at. So we have our sales amount, profit, and profit percentage year over year. We have our sales amount and profit by item categories. We have our sales amount by salesperson, and then our sales amount by global dimension 1 in my sample database or department. Around it we have some different slicers. So if you're not familiar with slicers, basically all they are visual filters. So I have slicers for my global dimensions, country, year, company, salesperson, item category, and product group. So let's say that I just wanted to see the data for my North American company and only for the years 2011 and 2012. I can select those slicers here, and as you can see, all of the data in my charts and graphs is updating almost instantaneously. Now this is a big deal because if you were to write a similar report in a traditional reporting tool where it's having to query the live nav database, A report like this, where it's looking at a large amount of data over multiple years, could take a significant amount of time to refresh. However, since we're reporting from the data warehouse and more importantly the cube environment, we're able to analyze this data very, very quickly and really almost instantaneously as I'm selecting the different filter parameters within my slicers. So next I'd like to show you really how easy it is to build one of these dashboards from Excel. So in order to do that, I'm just going to go ahead and open up a new blank workbook here. And I'm going to go to my Jet ribbon here at the top of Excel. And what we're going to use to access our cubes is this pivot table cubes icon. So if I go ahead and select the pivot table cubes icon here, I'm just going to drop down to my nav cubes. So these are the 7 pre-built cubes that we deliver out of the box. So finance, inventory, manufacturing, payables, purchase, receivables, and sales. I'm just going to keep going with my sales examples during today's demonstration. So I'm going to go ahead and access our sales cube. And it's just going to open up a normal pivot table for me here. Now over here on the right hand side, this is where we're going to select the different measures and dimensions that we'd like to include in our report. So once we start looking at Jet Mobile here in a little while, you'll notice that the selection of the different measures and dimensions is very similar. Jet Mobile is just going to give you some additional functionality in terms of the actual building of the dashboards. So within Excel, the first thing that we're going to select are the different measures. Now the measures are simply going to be the numerical values. So things like sales amount, cost amount, profit percentage, quantities. So let's go ahead and select a couple of those. So I'm going to go ahead and select my sales amount, profit, and profit percentage. And those numbers are going to appear over here in my pivot table. Now once we've selected the different metrics or measures that we'd like to see, the next thing we're going to select are the dimensions. Now the dimensions within the cube are slightly different than dimensions in nav. Simply what I mean by the dimensions in the cube are the things that we want to be able to slice and dice this data by. So if I wanted to see my sales amount, profit, and profit percentage by customer, I could go down here to my bill to customer dimension, select that, and just like that we have all of our customers listed. If I then wanted to see it year over year, I can go down here to my posting date dimension, select that, and now we have it all laid out year over year. I can also expand any of these years by clicking on the plus sign next to them to see the data by quarter, by month, or even by day. So next, let's take a look at this data by a couple of other measures and dimensions. So I'm actually going to take out my profit percentage here. I'm going to take out my customers, and I'm going to take out my posting dates. So now we're back to just our sales amount and profit. So if I wanted to see my sales amount and profit by a salesperson, I could go down here to my salesperson dimension, select that. Now we have our salespeople listed. Let's also say that we want it grouped by item category. So I'm going to go ahead and go up here to my item category dimension. So now I have it grouped first by salesperson, then by item category. You'll also notice that I have some of these plus signs next to my different item categories. So a lot of the hierarchies that are already built into nav, we've already built into our data warehouse in cubes as well. So I can actually expand any of these item categories all the way down to the individual item levels to see their sales amount and profit as well. In addition to that, I can also drill down on any of these. So if I wanted to see down to a transactional level, for example, our soccer #1 pin, if I want to see the transactions that make up this sales amount, I can double click on that to see all the way down to the transactional level and the actual postings that make up that number within my report. So I'm going to go ahead and roll that back up here. Now, to begin getting to the full dashboard look and feel within Excel, all that we're going to do is we're going to insert a chart or graph here. So for this example, I'm going to use a column chart. Make it a little bit bigger. And then we're going to insert some of those slicer filters. So if I go to insert slicer filter, what this is going to do is it's going to give me access to every single dimension within my cube. So if I want to be able to filter on a certain company or a department or a year, quarter, month, day, we can do all of that using these slicers. So I'm going to go ahead and select a couple of these here. So if I want to be able to filter on a certain, let's say, company or department, I'm going to go ahead and select company for this example. Let's say that I want to filter on a certain year. Let's also say that I want to filter on a certain salesperson. And then finally, item cat. Let's get item category in here as well. And I'm just going to click OK. I'm going to organize these a little bit nicer here at the top so it's easier to slice and dice on everything. All right. So now if I just want to see my data for the year 2011 and only for our item categories, awards and recognition, bags and totes and caps and hats, and only for Annette Hill and Bart Duncan, I can select those slicers, and as you can see, it's updating both my pivot table as well as this chart here with the information. So within Excel, to get to the kind of full dashboard look and feel like we have here in this sales dashboard, all that we're doing is we're adding some additional pivot tables with the information, some charts and graphs to look at the different metrics, and then finally some slicers to be able to filter and slice and dice the way that we want to see everything. So now that we've covered really what business intelligence is, what Jet Reports delivers with Jet Enterprise, as well as some of the front-end Excel functionality, let's take a look at what we offer in terms of mobile and web client functionality. So Jet Mobile is an add-on to Jet Enterprise, and what it does is it connects to the data warehouse and cubes that we deliver, and it gives users the ability to access their dashboards really from anywhere. So through any web browser as well as any mobile device. So iPads, Androids, you can view your dashboards from wherever you are. So to give you a quick example of, or a few examples of the front end, this is the Jet Mobile web client. So here I have all of my different dashboards. So we have some financial dashboards, revenue and cash balance, quarterly sales by salesperson, item profitability, retail and profit dashboard. If I scroll down here, we have profit trends, as well as a few more down here at the end. So let's go ahead and take a look at some of these. So I'm going to go ahead and open up our revenue and cash balance here first. Oop, got logged out here. Bear with me for 1 second. All right, so if I go ahead and open up our revenue and cash balance here. So here are some of the different metrics and KPIs that we're looking at. So we're looking at our revenue by quarter. We have our revenue by business group. We're able to add filters. So here I have some filters on the 2 different companies in my sample database. And then our cash balance, it looks like by quarter over time. I can also expand any of these. So if I click on the magnifying glass here, I can see each individual visual, and I can take a look at the different points by quarter for our cash balance here, or the different revenues by business group, and then our revenue by quarter. And then to jump back, I'm just going to click on my dashboards. Let's take a look at our profit trends one here. So again, we have this kind of expanded view where we can see the full dashboards. We can filter on the different years here, as well as the different departments for this particular dashboard. So if I want to expand these, I'm just going to click on this. So here we have our profit over time, where we can look at the profit trends. Just going to scroll through. We have our top most profitable items sold. Nope, went the wrong way there. And then here we have our profit by item category. So within our kind of matrix here, we can also filter on any of these. So if I want to filter on a certain item or a certain sales amount or a certain profit, I can filter on all of those as well. And again, to jump back to the main dashboard, I'm just going to select the profit trends, or all the way back to my dashboards, I can do that as well. The last dashboard that I want to show you on the web client is our sales dashboard, and then we'll take a look at actually building one of these dashboards. So I'm going to go ahead and open this up. So here we have a sales dashboard that's taking a look at our sales over time, our sales by salesperson, our top 10 items by profit, and then our sales by item category. This right here is called a range slicer, so I can actually filter on a certain year just by moving each end of the range slicer. And then I also have some filters here at the top to be able to filter on a specific company, a specific department, as well as a specific salesperson. And again, I can click on the magnifying glasses for these as well to see our sales by item category, our top 10 items by profit, and our sales by salesperson, and then lastly our sales over time. And I can move this range slicer back if I want as well. So now that we've taken a look at kind of the end user point of view and actually viewing some of these dashboards, let's take a look at actually building one, and we'll kind of recreate this dashboard right here. So I'm going to go ahead and access our dashboard builder. So the dashboard builder is a standalone application that allows you to publish these dashboards to a mobile device. We have a native application for the iPad right now, or as well as to our web client, which allows you to access any of your dashboards from anywhere. So in order to create a new dashboard, I'm just going to go ahead and select open here. We're going to fill out some information, so I'm just going to go ahead and type in sales dashboard. I can add a description. I can select my data source, and then finally I can select which cube I'd like to build the dashboard from. So finance, inventory, manufacturing, payables, purchase, receivables, and sales. So I'm going to go ahead and access our sales cube and click OK. So this white area here, this is our dashboard area. So here, whatever I put in this center area is exactly what's going to show up in the web client or on my mobile device. Over here on the left-hand side, this is our action area. So up here at the top, we have some of our visuals. In this center area that's blank right now, this is where we'll manipulate some of the visuals, which I'll go over in a minute. And then down here at the bottom, here's where we have our different measures and dimensions. So this is exactly similar to what I did in Excel, where it's going to access the different measures and dimensions from the cube to help us build our dashboard. So let's go ahead and start building. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to create a pie chart. So I'm going to take our pie chart visual and just drag and drop that into my workbook here. I'm going to make it a little bit smaller. There we go. And then I'm going to select what measure that I'd like to see. So I'm going to do sales by salesperson. So I'm going to take our sales amount and drag and drop. And then I'm going to take our salesperson dimension and just drag and drop that in. And then it will populate my chart here. So over here in our action area, we can change the name. So I'm just going to type in sales by salesperson. We can also change any of the values. We can add filters to this. We'll add some of those on some of the other ones we have here. So next, let's go ahead and take a look at our top 10 items by profit. So I'm going to use a column chart for this, and I'm just going to drag and drop that right there. Line it up a little bit nicer. So let's go ahead and pull in our items. I'm just going to drag and drop. And then let's pull in profit. clearly, as you can see, I have a lot of different items in my sample database, whereas I only want to see my top 10. So in order to add that filter, I'm just going to do that over here in the action area. First, I'm just going to change this. So top 10 items by profit. And then in the values area, I'm just going to select profit. I can sort as well as filter. So I'm going to filter on our top 10, and I can really make this top 10, bottom 10, top 5. You can manipulate this however you'd like. I'm going to take out my other category just so it doesn't skew my data, and click OK. So now we have our top 10 items by profit. Next, I'm going to pull in a donut chart. So I'm going to take our donut chart here and just pull that in right there. And then let's take a look at our sales amount by item category. So I'm going to grab my sales amount measure, and then I'm going to grab our item category dimension. Change the name of this. All right, next we're going to bring in a range slicer. So I'm just going to pull that in right here. I'm just going to have this go all along the top. And let's take a look at our sales and profit over time. So our sales amount, just drag that in. Let's bring in our profit, and then we'll just pull in a posting date dimension. So if I go to posting date, I can do month, quarter, year. I'm just going to do this date dimension here at the top. So now we have our sales and profit over time. And then last, we're going to pull in some filters. So I'm going to pull in some slicer filters here. So let's do 3 of them. 1, 2, 3. I'm just going to line those up. All right, and then let's pull in some slicers here. So if I want to be able to filter on a certain company, I'm just going to drag and drop that into that slicer filter. Let's say that I want to filter on a certain salesperson. And then finally, let's do department as well. Make this a little bit smaller on my company just so it gives me room for my title. And then in order to bring in the title here, I'm just going to use this text visual and put that right there. And we'll call this Sales Dashboard. I'm going to go ahead and make that a little bigger, bold it maybe a little bit. Okay, there we go. So once I've brought in all of the information that I want to see in this dashboard, I can also change any of the color schematics, or you can do themes as well. So if I want to select a different theme here, so here we have more of an orange and black one. Here's a purple and black, blue. If we want something a little bit lighter. There's a lot of different ways that you can change all of this. And then finally, to share the dashboard, all I need to do is click on the arrow up here at the top. And then here you'll see all of the users that you have for Jet Mobile. And currently, our mobile application or our mobile add-on comes with unlimited users, so you can have as many people as you'd like with the ability to access and interact with these dashboards. So basically, I just select who I'd like to share it with, click OK, and then it will share out to their web client or mobile device. So this pretty much covers everything that I wanted to go over for you today. I'd like to thank everybody for their time today, and I'd also like to let you know about a few promotions that we have going on through the 26th of this month. On any Jet Essentials purchases, we're offering a free designer. And then on any Jet Enterprise purchases, we're offering a small cash discount as well as a free designer on those as well. So if you're interested in learning more about any of our promotions that we have going on at this time, I highly encourage you to either email myself directly or your account manager at ArcherPoint. Again, thank you very much for your time, and at this point I'll hand it back over to Suzanne, and if we have any questions, I'm happy to answer them now.
Great. Thanks so much, Alex. Again, if you have questions, you can use the questions pane in your GoToWebinar console, or simply just use the raise your hand feature at this time, and I will unmute your line. Did have one question come in. Actually, a couple of them. First of all, everyone that's on this call or that has registered for this event will receive a link to the recording sometime tomorrow. And feel free to share that. We'll also post it out on our website, and that's in the questions pane if you want to capture that link. Melissa is interested to know what Jet Essentials costs.
Jet Essentials or
yes.
Jet?
Yeah, Essentials.
Yep. So Jet Essentials, just kind of as a ballpark range, is going to be between 5,000 and 10,000.
I like a lot of ERP costs. It depends, right?
Exactly. It's going to depend on how many users they'd like to have, as well as how many databases they'd like to connect to.
Okay, great. All right, and I don't see any other questions. Let me just check for raised hands. Don't see anybody else, any other questions at this time. Alex, looks great. What a very simplistic way to create those dashboards. Looks very easy to use. Peter would like to know, are there any mapping visualizations?
In terms, so I'm guessing you're talking about something similar to Power Maps, which Microsoft offers, and you can actually use a lot of the Power Maps and Power BI, as well as the entire Microsoft BI suite that they've been developing over the last couple of years. It actually works great in conjunction with our products. Being able to connect all of their visualization tools to a pre-built data warehouse and cube environment like ours, it works absolutely fantastically. So you can definitely use a lot of those in conjunction with Jet Enterprise.
Nice. And then if you could just repeat for Giovanni the versions that this is compatible with, versions of Nav.
Yep, so Jet Enterprise is compatible all the way back to, I believe, Nav 4.0, and then all the way up through Nav 2015. So we've pretty much have the full spectrum covered.
All right. Great. I hope that answers everyone's questions. And with that, we're going to give you some of your day back. We do appreciate you setting aside a few minutes of your busy day for this webinar. We hope you consider it time well spent. And to help us to continue to offer value, we'd ask that you take a few minutes more to give us your feedback or letting us know what other topics you would like covered in future Lunch and Learn webinars. Simply email your comments to info@archerpoint.com. Again, that's info@archerpoint.com.